Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Matt. I'm going to be hosting today's webinar for you. And as you can see on your screens, it is about simplifying your routines, working smarter with bank recurring items. So, without further ado, let's get a look at what's coming up, because obviously we are in Banking Excellence Badge Week. Superb event that we're running for you. Now, we're up to session 5. So, as you can see on your screens there, simplifying your routines. We've already been through 1 through 4, but we are doing repeat sessions. So if you have missed any, do not worry. You can attend the live recordings later next week, or you can catch the recordings that are going to be available on our website, sage.co.uk/webinars. Next is going to be clean up your accounts, correcting bank errors. That's later today with me at 2 o'clock. So if you haven't signed up for that one, please sign up for that one. We'd love to see your attendance there. Once you've attended at least 6 out of the 8 webinars and attended a quiz, which is going to be a good bit of fun, you'll be sent your badge. And your badge you can attach to your CV, share it with your employers to show them just how qualified you are in Sage. Everything is themed around banking excellence for 2025, so register. Also, on the handout that you can download, 2 versions, black and white and colour, there's links you can click on in order to register for the remainder of the webinars. So what exactly are we going to be covering today? Well, we're going to be looking at recurring items. First off, we're going to be looking at an introduction to recurring items, specifically going into bank recurring items. The version invoices and credits is memorize and recall. We'll be going into that into a wee bit of detail. And then we're going to be touching on bank feeds rules also. So that is the itinerary. I'm going to be demoing everything as well, so don't worry, you'll be able to see what you need to be doing in order to make your routines a lot quicker. Now then, housekeeping rules. If you haven't been here before, these are the rules. You are automatically muted, so if you need a cough or sneeze, don't worry, we'll not hear you whatsoever. There is a speech bubble there with a question mark in it for questions. That is for you. So if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please ask. We've got Jackie, we have Michael, and we have Abby. Full set today of all the mega Sage brains. So fire as many questions as you possibly can in. The webinar is going to be around about 30 to 40 minutes, questions pending. We will answer as many questions as we can during that window. If we can't, we'll catch up with you after, if there's anything that's a bit complex or a bit niche. But what I would recommend at this point is downloading that handout that has been attached, because that won't be sent to you afterwards. What will be sent to you afterwards in the follow-up email is a copy of the recording. So if you're having trouble with sound or anything like that at all, you'll be able to watch it later on at your leisure. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to the introduction. What is recurring items? Now, recurring items, as it says in front of you there, they're used to automate your processing. So why would you do the work when the software will do it for you? Speeds everything up for you. It makes everything quicker, to say the same thing twice. Now, they can be set up in the banking module for your bank transactions. Also, as I said before, in invoices and orders, memorize and recall is what they're often referred to, and I'll show you that in the software later on. Recurring items can be activated so that when you turn on your software, Sage will alert you and say things have been while waiting to be processed. There they are. So if you are paying for things daily, weekly, monthly, or any kind of time frame period, you can make it a recurring item. It won't post them for you. You'll have to still post it, but it will do the majority of the work for you. And again, I'll show you that in the demonstration. To activate it simply, you can see there, settings, company preferences, and parameters. So make sure you do have the relevant permissions in order to activate this. Manager can do it, obviously. If you are the manager and you're delegating this job out to somebody, just make sure that they do have the permissions to do so. So first off, bank recurring items. Benefits. It's great for processing regular payments, i.e. electricity bills, cleaning bills, etc. If you're not using direct bank feeds, now we are going to touch briefly on bank feeds, not go too much into it because that's a standalone webinar itself. Abby held that yesterday. It's a brilliant one. The recording could be available. Again, it's going to be on next week also, but we will touch upon that briefly. Now, once you've set up your recurring item, your frequency can be added. I touched on it again. weekly, daily, monthly. And that will prompt the software to input the details of that transaction for you, taking that manual process away from you, letting you focus on other things throughout your day. Now, also from the recurring items, as you can see on the picture to the right-hand side there, you can view the activity, you can see what it's been doing, you can edit it. So if your cleaning bill changes because they put the prices up or prices down, you don't have to set it up from scratch again, just click edit. And you can change the detail in there. You can also pause or suspend the recurring item for whatever reason that may be. Let's say the cleaner's going on holiday for 6 months and they're not going to be doing anything, just suspend it until they return. Again, I'll show you how to do that. And I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm just going to switch over to my software. Hopefully you can all see that. And what we're going to do is we're going to head over to bank accounts first off. What I always do here is I always click clear, just to make sure nothing is selected there. Just in case I have been having a look around, just click clear, nothing selected whatsoever. You'll notice the icons at the top of your screen, right in the middle, there is recurring items. So I'm going to click on this once, and it's going to bring up my recurring items window. Now the buttons at the top here, you could add, edit, delete, activity. You could print or you can send them to Excel if you want to keep a record of what your recurring items are. What I'm going to do for the demonstration is going to show you how first to add a recurring item. So as it says on the tin there, you would click add. That is going to bring up this window for you here. Looks like a lot, but it really isn't. Once you're used to entering your recurring items, it'll become second nature. First place I would head to is in the middle that is currently highlighted. This is where you're going to be able to pick your transaction type. Okay, so you've got your payments, you've got your receipts, you've got your transfers, your internals, you've got customer payment on account and supplier on account. Now, when you do a customer or supplier payment on account, it will not automatically allocate to an invoice. Sage is very intelligent, but it's not intelligent enough yet to know that this payment is for said invoice. So you still will have to manually allocate these payments to invoices if applicable. Okay, you've got your journal debit and credit. Remember, if you're doing a debit, do the credit as well. And then if you're doing any kind of charity work or charity on the go, you've got your donation there also. So for recurring items, for the sake of this, I'm just going to be doing the payment. Once I've selected that, I will enter my transaction reference, direct debit, / standing order in this instance. And I'm going to pretend this is for my cleaner. So I'm going to put in cleaning service. Once I've typed that in, and that's roughly what I know the transaction is going to indicate, I'm going to select my bank account from the top here. For the sake of the demonstration, nice and simple, just my current account, 1200. But for whatever purpose you would want to use it for, obviously select the correct account. Nominal code. So again, we can't tell you what nominal codes to use. That's up to you. In this example, I'm using cleaning, so I'm going to scroll down to my 7000s because I believe it's down there. Let me just 2 seconds while I find it for you. They've gone past it. Let's have a look. I'll search for it instead. There it is, yep, 7801. Superb. Now, once I've decided these details here, I'm going to come down to the bottom, posting frequency. Now, this is where you decide how often and how much. This is the finer detail. In this demonstration, it's a cleaning service, I'm going to select monthly. I pay my cleaner monthly. Every 1 month, for once a month, total required postings. Now, if it was a 6-month contract, I would type in 6, and that would create 6 versions of the same transaction monthly from this start date here. So starting from the 6th of February for 6 months, and it would give me the end date, 6th of July. If I wanted it to be no end, perpetual, continuous, select a 0 or type in a 0, okay? And that would mean no end date. So on the 6th of every single month is going to post this transaction. I'm going to put in the amount, £100 a month, good rate. Tax code, I would select which one I'm going to use from the list, in this case T1, and it'll automatically calculate the VAT for me also. So there we have it. I would click OK, and I've just set it up. Now, if I've made a mistake, I think, oh, hang on a minute, £100 was actually cheap, it was meant to be 1,000. I would simply highlight the transaction, in this instance, top one here, click Edit. For the cleaning service that I've just set up, click Edit, and it brings up the screen again. And then I would correct the error that I'd made and click OK. It's at this point as well that if this had been running for a while, I could put a tick in this box here. You see, suspend posting. What's that? What that is going to do essentially is stop it from automatically creating the transaction. Obviously, I'm just setting it up, so I'm not going to tick that now, but let's say they were taking some time off and I just wanted to pause that transaction. Suspend posting is what I would click. But I've made my edit there. I can also change the date. Let's say I'm going to make this on the 26th, and you'll see it'll automatically change. That pop-up there was for my financial year. I haven't run my year end in this data yet, so don't worry. I then click OK. Jobs are good. So that is how I would set them up. Now, what I can do from this window as well is I can manage them. So I realise now, hang on, I've already set this up before, but it was incorrect. And I've literally just set it up correctly there. So I'm just going to highlight this recurring item here, and I would click delete if needs be. Are you wanting to delete the recurring entry? Yes. And that will disappear from the list. Quite simple once you get your head around it to manage your recurring items. Absolutely it is. So don't bear that in mind. Don't be too daunted when you come to set your first one up. And if you want to, what I would recommend as well is if you've got demonstration data, which you all should have, is practice setting them up in there first and see how they look. Maybe leave them running for a while and check in on demonstration data, just so you get it all right first time. From here as well as add and edit and delete activity, and it'll show me what's been happening with particular transactions in this screen here. We can also click process, and what that would do, it would bring up the screen of recurring items that have yet to be processed, transactions that have been created but not yet posted. In order to post them, I would click this button here, and it would automatically post those transactions to my transactions list and debit any accounts that need to be debited, etc., etc. So it would just finalize what had been done. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Nothing is being posted. Superb. On to the next slide. So this is essentially what we've just looked at there from the recurring items. It's exactly what you can do. Again, if we remember, with suppliers and customer payments, they will not automatically allocate. You will have to go in and allocate those manually yourselves. Sage won't be able to do that for you yet. So next, what we're going to look at is invoices, credits, memorize, and recall. So this feature is going to be in your invoices and credits section. It's going to be the same process for your quotations, your sales orders, and your purchase orders as well. Okay, but I'm just going to show you in the invoices and credits section. But it's going to be the same process for either. So just carbon copy, essentially. What this allows you to do, let's say you've got complex or large invoices or repetitive invoices, you can memorize the invoice once you've input it and set it up so it just recalls all the time. I'll show you how to do that. If you bear with me a second, we'll switch over to the demonstration. So you should see my live data here and start from the beginning. So at the home page, I'm going to go to invoices and credits. Okay. Now what you'll notice, the difference is here. If I click on recurring items at the top, I can't add. I can't set anything up. That's the main difference. You can't set them up from clicking that. What you can do is you can monitor or edit or manage what's already been set up for your invoices and credits, etc. But you can't add from this place. What you have to do is you have to do a creation of the invoice, or you can do it from an existing invoice. We'll do it from a created invoice to show you the whole process. So what I will do is I'll select an account. I'm going to say A1 Computers. And what they're going to do is order some copper bars from me, 101. Not only that, they're going to order standard mics, 76 of those. Let's pretend this order goes on and on and on and on. What I would then do is before I click save, this button up here, memorize, it's going to do exactly what it says. It's going to memorize that invoice. Okay, so you would click memorize, type the reference. I'm going to say A1 comp, and I'm going to call it monthly invoice. Again, these are up to you, applicable for your scenario. I want this to repeat every month, so 1 month. I'm going to make it perpetual because they're always going to make this order with me every single month. They want it on the 30th. So what I'm going to do is just change this date here, 30th. Click save. Sorry, it's February, isn't it? 28th. Click save, and that is going to create that invoice. Then I'm going to click save. Job's good. Outside my financial year, so don't worry about that. Now, the phone rang, and it's a different one of my customers, and they want exactly the same scenario set up. So what I would do is I would click on recall, double click on the entry, and it's going to bring up that exact same invoice for A1. Simply change who it's for. So in this instance, I'm going to say PC World want the same order. I will change the account to PC World. Don't want to recalculate the prices. And then what I would do is click memorize again. Reference this time, PC World, description, monthly invoice. Again, set it up for how you like it. Theirs is going to be once a month. But theirs is only going to be for 12 months this time. Once I've done that, it's going to run to the 6th of January. I'm going to click save. So there we are. So I've recalled the invoice for A1 Computers, used exactly the same ingredients, as it were, for the invoice, but I've applied it to PC World. Slightly changed the date as well for them. It's going to be a little bit different. Once I've done that, I click save. There we are, all created. So there we have it. That's how easy it is. Now, if I wanted to view these recurring items, as I said before when I first started the demonstration, you would click on recurring items here, and this is where you can delete and you can edit all of your invoices as they come through. Good question there from Jackie. I think Abby's picked that one up, so I'll leave that one there. But if you've got an existing invoice in your list and you were to double click on it, you would get the same options here. So I've already created the invoice. Let's say it was an invoice from a few months back and they've decided they wanted to make it a regular order. Find that invoice, double click to view it, and you can memorize it from there. Once you do, it's going to ask you the same details here, just to type in the reference, the description, the days, etc. So even if you've got a record of that invoice, you can go back, You don't have to create it from scratch. You could say, right, invoice here from Asda on the 8th of January. What I'm going to do is memorize that invoice, and I'm going to set it up that way. So if you already sent the invoice out, yes, you can do that. It's not an issue at all. Superb. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to switch to the next screen, which is recurring entries on startup. So what happens here is that when you close your software and you reopen it, this box will appear before you even start processing, and it will say, you have recurring entries due. Do you want to process them now? That's as soon as you open up the software at the home page. I'm just going to quickly jump on one of the questions there from now. Yes, you can do recurring journals there. I can quickly show you in the software once I'm back there. So recurring entries on startup, you would basically start your program. Once you start it, this will pop up on your home screen, and you would click yes, and it would take you to the recurring items window that we mentioned before. So it will take you to this window here, and it will say, would you like to process recurring items? When you click yes, this window will appear, and you will highlight which ones you want to post. I'm just going to post them. Done. Then we can check the activity, and the activity will be there for you to see for each transaction and posting. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to dive in and help with some of the questions here. Let's have a quick look, because we've got quite a fair few comes through. It will, Louise, yes. So Louise asked, if you say no at this point, will it continue to remind you until you say yes? Correct. So it'll always say you have postings waiting. Do you want to have a look at them now? So yes, it will always be there. Good question. If you wanted to check up on your recurring items and you wanted to see exactly what was on there or specific details about them, you can use our reporting function in order to do that. Now, you do have the Which Report tool on our website, which you can use in the Help Center, which is a link on the slide in front of you. And it will offer you a selection that's there on the left-hand side. I'm not going to go through them all, obviously, because if you've downloaded the handout, you'll be able to check them. You'll also be able to find it in the Report Finder tool, which is built in to Sage also, which I'll show you where it is. If you go to Reports, this is an AI finding tool. So you would click on your reports. What report are you looking for? You would type in just the word recurring, have a look, and what this will do is it'll zoom around and it'll find everything to do with recurring items. So using that AI tool built into the report finder is going to save you time as well, a lot of time. But again, if you've downloaded the handout, the links are going to be available there for you to click on in order to check up on your recurring items as well. Yeah, it is brilliant, Louise. Yeah, so if you do have separate users, it's not going to just waste that notification on whoever logs in first. So yeah, good point. Right then, bank feeds rules. So with bank feeds, apologies, it works the same. So you can set up your bank feeds to create rules that will automatically post things for you. It's easy to set up. You basically create a rule, your software posts all the future transactions automatically, and this saves even more time processing. I'm not going to go too much into that as well, because as I said at the start of the webinar, Abby's got a standalone webinar on bank feeds that she ran yesterday. The recording's available, but if you sign up to the live and you've got any questions, I'll be able to answer them. We'll be able to answer them for you also. I would recommend watching that because it is a standalone webinar. We won't have enough time to rush through everything for you. essentially. But again, these are all tools which are designed to save you time whilst you are processing. So by using these tools, taking time away from doing the manual day-to-day things, and you can focus more on your business, essentially. So, let's have a look at the questions. Is there any further ones that we've got there? Keep them coming in. We do have all 3 people in here at the moment to help you out. While we're waiting for more questions, I'm going to go through what we've looked at today. So essentially, the summary of what we've done is we've looked at the benefits of setting up recurring items, what you can set them up for, the timeframes you can set them and how to edit them, where to find them in your banking module or your invoices and credits module as well. So that's the different types of availability and also the different transactions that you look at as well. Now, remember the question for you can do your internals by using your journals here. So if we go to recurring items, add, and we've got bank transfers every single month, let's say. So first off, I would have a look here in the middle and look at total transfer. I'm just going to put int on that one. I want it to be every week. And I want £10 to go. And what I want that to go from is from my current account into my petty cash. What that's going to do is every day is going to put £10 from my current account into my petty cash repetitively until I tell it to stop, essentially. And you can see here it creates the journals for me, journal credit and the journal debit, crediting out and debiting in. Yeah, Margaret asked if all users will see the recurring items. If they have permission to access that part, then yes, they will be able to see that notification when it pops up. Superb. So back to the summary. The different types of transactions available to set up for your recurring items. Also, the reports that you can run in order to check up on your recurring items and see the activity and save the reports. Not only that, we touched briefly on bank feeds, again, referencing Abby's standalone webinar for that. Keep the questions coming in because we've still got a little bit of time there, at 11:28. Whilst waiting for more questions and for questions to be answered, just to go through some of the help and resources on the handout for you. So we've got Memorize, Recall, Recurring Entries, a link for the help guide there. Also, setting up recurring invoices and recurring sales orders. There is more available at the Help Centre, obviously, but they're the 3 main ones that I would recommend looking at and saving or favoriting on your web browser. Webinars that are coming up, we've got Banking Excellence webinar series continuing. So we've got me later on this afternoon with correcting bank errors in Sage 50. So if you haven't signed up for that one, sign up for it. It's at 2 o'clock. After that, we've got Harnessing the Power of e-payments in Sage 50. And we've got payment ready invoices. So adding your bank information to your invoices. And then we've got the brilliant quiz. Remember, 6 out of 8 sessions plus the quiz in order to get your badge. Superb. What I'm going to do now for you is play a quick video that we have. And I should be back with you in just a moment. Lovely stuff. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So again, what's left for me to say now is thank you very much for your attendance today. Very much appreciated, and hopefully I'll speak to you all later on as well. Please remember, download those handouts. On your way out, you will be asked to fill in a form. Tell me how it did today. Also recommend any future topics you want covered, such like a satisfaction form. So if you could complete that survey for me, all comments are read and all information is taken on board. Other than that, I'm going to end the webinar now for us all so you get some time back. If you do have any further questions, please just get in touch. But hopefully I'll speak to you later on. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.